I decided to use this last part of the video for some question and answer. I think you've seen me cut enough plywood and drill pocket holes and peg holes and screw it all together enough. So I got to get a gauge of what the commonly asked questions are by the most commonly asked questions. Only a very, very small percentage of viewers comment, so I'm assuming that there's other people have these questions. So I wanted to start with the wood. I chose Poplar. I'm going to try this again. It's the third time trying to get this out. In a previous video, I went over the most commonly used wood for face frames that are going to be painted. Face frames and doors. And Poplar is the number one thing. And soft maple is another one. Once you get into the hardwoods, it's just no longer cost effective. Another question was Poplar versus pine. Home Depot does sell finish ready pine. It's a higher quality pine that's milled to pretty much what this is. But still, I went with Poplar. It is a hardwood. It's a soft hardwood, but it is a hardwood. And it's just industry standard. I just want to keep things simple. Most everything I do, I did not come up with on my own. I'm just repeating what's worked for many other people in the past. So that's the face frame. Pocket holes is the only way to really do this. Any other way is you're just wasting your time and money. The wood, a lot of people have asked, well, are you going to paint the inside? And it is confusing to me. No, cabinets are not painted on the inside. Unless you go to IKEA or get some real cheap cabinets. The insides on most custom cabinets, I'm going to say most, I want to say all, but I'm sure somewhere out there someone requested to have custom cabinets painted white on the inside or something like that. But they're almost all pre-finished maple. 100%. Every manufacturer from coast to coast orders the same domestic maple plywood to build their cabinets. Most of them go on a CNC machine and get all zipped out real quick and on down the assembly line. This is pre-finished maple, both sides. Now there is a whole system of rating and grading plywood, and I honestly forgot what this is, but there is a finished side rating and a non-finished side rating. Even though this is finished on this side, they can be the same species or different, and there's a whole grading system. Maybe I'll remember what that is and do it in a future video. Just can't remember off the top of my head. Had several questions on the pocket hole, not really the pocket hole jig, but I am going to give you a kind of a close-up again. Someone asked, had a couple questions specifically about the drill bit. So that first step in the drill bit is where the head of the screw is going to sit down on. Now this collar here is adjustable for different thicknesses of wood. You can go all the way up to using this pocket hole jig on 2x4s. There are little gauges right there on setting depths of your drill bit. It's real easy to use. There's no real skills involved. Except maybe to pull this. Actually, no, it's real easy. I don't know if it was really a question. Comments was about this jig here to drill these holes. It's pretty self-explanatory when you see it up close. Again, this is the drill bit. It has a collar on it to set the depth. Someone mentioned you could use pegboard to do the same thing. I just happen to have a piece of pegboard right here. Let me wheel this over. If you were on an extreme budget, I mean extreme budget, you could use this to lay out your holes. After one cabinet, let's see here. Let me count up how many holes this is. There are 80 holes in here. After you drill 80 holes in it, or even 20 holes in any certain segment of this pegboard, the holes are going to get wallered out and you're going to lose consistency. Give you a close-up here. This here has steel inserts, front and back. And you press this down hard and it goes right up to the wood and it prevents chip out. And this is cheap. I really don't know how much it cost me. I'll put a link in the description and you can go check it out and see if it's something that you would use. I guess pocket holes versus gluing nails and just screws, like screwing into the side here versus the pocket holes that come in at an angle. The only time I would do that is if I was not using pre-finished wood and it was raw wood, and I would glue that joint also, as well as screw in from the side. I would not do that without the glue, especially for an upper cabinet. Base cabinets you can get away with just as long as your sides here are resting on the ground. That's where the strength is. I mean, the other parts of a base cabinet are purely there for looks and to support the door. On an upper cabinet where strength is very important, you got to go with something a little bit stronger. The pocket holes works great, it's efficient, and it's something that my audience will do. Now the other method is with the dados and the rabbits, glue and staples. So you would cut in a dado or rabbit on the back side. It's much more precise measuring to make sure it all goes together correctly. You can use the router table or a dado stack. It's just the pocket hole method is just easier. It is just easier to get perfect cabinets every time, and it's something that my audience would do. They have the tools. They could easily go out and buy this jig here. They might not want to go out and buy a 700-pound, $2,000 table saw with a 50-some inch rip capacity and dado stacks and router tables. The big cost. I've spoke about the cost of kitchen cabinets in some previous videos on different projects, and people just basically thought I was lying. I guess, I don't know if they don't own a home, they live in Mississippi, or they've never renovated a home to a high standard of finishes. You get very, very cheap off-the-shelf Home Depot cabinets made out of half-inch MDF. They still look pretty decent, but they're going to be about $200 a cabinet for something like this. Put two doors on this. At Home Depot, it might be $250 for one cabinet. Now you've got a kitchen with 20 cabinets. That's only going to be about $5,000. Call it $7,000 if you got a little bit more. Maybe you got a larger sink base or pantry. But there's no way you can purchase decent cabinets for double that. The low end for cabinets that look like this is going to be in the $15,000 range. You're going to average for a normal size kitchen is going to be about $18,500 to $20,000. That's going to get you soft close hinges, soft close drawers. It's going to get you real wood like this. It's going to get you a higher quality paint finish or stain finish. No cabinet poles are included in that price. That will include your crown, your scribe, your toe kick. That $18,000 to $20,000 will also get you some fancy twirl-arounds or lazy Susans. They've got some new things out on the market that kind of spin and pull out. $18,000 is what you can expect to pay for a decent set of kitchen cabinets. I'm doing this for less, and I'm still making a good chunk of money. Now when this video series is all done, when the uppers are in, the pantries are built, the lowers are in, everything's all done, I'll tell you how much I have in materials. Keep in mind, I'm not getting much of a discount. I got a little bit of a discount on the plywood here, and that's it. The last thing was full overlay, no face frames versus face frames. And it might be a regional thing, but these parts, it's all face frames. If you do see one that is the full overlay, 99 times out of 100, they're IKEA. They're straight from IKEA. They're you assemble it yourself type deal, and that's the only full overlay, no face frame cabinets I've ever seen. Honestly, I swear to God. Everything else, custom, non-custom, is face frames. Now I know people in England, they have a freaking fit with that and they just start twitching. But that's just the reality. So chill out. Is there any other questions? Don't be shy. I know you got them. I know you got them. Don't worry about what other people think. One last thing before I get started. I didn't mention this, but I do not leave any factory edges. I use a square. I've got a drywall T-square right over there that I've been double checking with. I don't leave any factory edges. So all the ends, everything's got to be cut through the table saw to make sure that it's square. Here's an example of what this plywood looks like after it comes out of the table saw. That is just as straight and as crisp of an edge as you can get. And it's square. Here's a factory edge. You can see you got some dents on the corner. You got a whole bunch of chips. And when these factory edges aren't run through the table saw and you butt that up against another pre-finished piece of plywood, it sticks out like a sore thumb at you. So yeah, this is all what you get from the factory. This side of the cabinet is going to be exposed. Quite a bit of it's going to be exposed because there's a window that this wraps around, and there'll be a cabinet that bridges over the window to connect the other side. So I built in a extra large overhang on this face frame here to accept a painted side panel. It'll be a nice finished, it'll be the same type of paint that goes on the face frame. One of you guys tweet out on the Twitter? I don't know. I don't have a Twitter account or a Twitter account. I don't even have a Facebook account. Just wondering how many of you guys are out there on Twitter and actually participate in tweets. Next up, I got to drill the holes for the shelf pins. Leave a comment below if you tweet. It's okay if you're a grown man and you send out tweets to the world. I'm just curious if I should get on the get with the times, whatever they call it, and start tweeting. So something I didn't mention in the last one, I don't know, maybe I did, is there's different offsets on this jig here, and you can just pop this little standoff off. So on the front side, so where the pocket holes here are going to screw the face frame on, I want this piece on one side, so it puts the holes right about there. Now when I go to put the holes over here, it's a different offset. The reason for that is there's going to be a board here at the back of the cabinet, and you don't want your holes too close to the back of the cabinet. It looks weird, even though you can still get your shelf pins in. It just looks a little off. So I got to remember to switch this little plastic thing here from the front side to the back side. So I got this table all waxed up. It's good for making things slippery and not scratching your pre-finished wood. I'm thinking I might get a mat or something. Like a craft mat or something. Probably got something out there. This looks so cool. One more panel to do, and we screw everything together. Got a little carried away and forgot to turn the camera on. It's all screwed together. I think it looks like a beautiful cabinet. This is an interesting one. This goes over the window that is over the sink. And interesting to see how it turns out. It's going to have doors. Some big, long, skinny doors. And this will continue the crown molding over the top of it. Just wanted the way to finish it off between the right and left side of the window. And there's a cabinet there right now that has pretty much the same shape and size. There we go. Two more